15 days to go until the election and more than 1 million North Carolinians already early voting. We take you to the polls.
Black Lives Matter banner debuts at a downtown Elon church. What they're doing to keep this one safe.
Plus, a North Carolina tradition reimagined, how the annual state fair is continuing on despite a rise in coronavirus cases.
Those stories and more.
Elon Local News starts right now.
Live from the Jane and Brian Williams studio at Elon University School of Communications, you're watching Elon Local News.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Maeve Ashbrook.
And I'm Brian Ray. New tonight, 12 new coronavirus cases were reported today, the second largest single-day case increase since September 25th. The case increase now brings the number of estimated active cases to 46. The number of people in quarantine is now up to 149.
Outside of Elon, the state reported 25 new cases in Alamance County, contributing to the more than 1,000 cases reported across North Carolina. As the number of new cases in our area continues to trend upward, Elon sophomore Devin Battaglia says she didn't know about the move back to level 2 and thinks there are inconsistencies within the alert system descriptions.
I've had experiences where I wanted to take a class online and a professor didn't offer it and wasn't really willing to make accommodations, and other classes where it's completely up to you and you can do whatever regardless of what level we're in. So I think sometimes it's just hard because everyone has a different experience and we're not all on the same page at all times.
Chair of the Ready and Resilient Committee, Jeff Stein, says the rise and fall of numbers is to be expected, especially when new clusters are found. The latest cluster reported to the state last Thursday originated in Building A of the East neighborhood.
This is going to be a roller coaster, and we included that graph in the email to show, look, it is kind of like that. I mean, you need to be ready, and our actions can help with keeping us at the bottom of that curve.
Despite changing to level 2, College Coffee will be held in person tomorrow for the first time since March. There will be 4 locations around campus tomorrow, next to the Corey Business Center, outside Lakeside Dining Hall, in front of the Alamance building, and under the Oaks. University spokesman Owen Covington told Elon News Network the university will continue to watch increasing cases in order to make calls on restrictions to campus activities. And for the latest numbers anytime, all the time, visit our website, elonnewsnetwork.com.
Starting today, students can fill out a form on OnTrack to get money credited for their pre-semester COVID-19 test. The credit will be processed into student bills and should be available in December. Stein says they want to make the process as simple as possible for students.
We want to get the word out from the beginning. There's no other criteria we're using. There's no sort of limiting to the number. The reason why we are doing it this way is we also need to track how we manage the process.
In an email sent to Elon News Network, university spokesman Owen Covington says about a third of the student body demonstrated financial need and automatically received the credit. These students do not have to fill out the form on OnTrack, but if you do, you have until November 18th to fill the form out.
The 2020 general election is 2 weeks from tomorrow, and in our final installment of our series looking at the races on the ballot, today we take a look at the race to represent North Carolina in the U.S. Senate. The race is between incumbent Republican Thom Tillis, who is seeking a second term, and former North Carolina State Senator Democrat Cal Cunningham. Neither campaign responded to numerous requests for an interview with the candidate, but did provide statements on issues. When it comes to reopening the state, Tillis believes we are in, quote, good position, but that protecting the physical and economic health of the nation is not mutually exclusive, end quote. For Cunningham, it's about continuing to provide the state with widespread testing and personal protective equipment to help reopen the state with, quote, peace of mind. But each candidate has a different idea of how the president is handling the coronavirus response nationwide.
I think that we are seeing and experiencing an unprecedented failure of leadership in this country.
In a crisis, you don't go for perfect. You go for good steps in the right direction.
Another key issue for voters here in the state is what to do with Confederate monuments, including the one located here in Alamance County. Tillis believes that a decision on Confederate monuments should come from stakeholders and not a mandate from Congress. On the other hand, Cunningham believes that Confederate monuments should exist in museums and cemeteries, not public areas. Outside of the issues, the race gained national attentions over a coronavirus diagnosis and sex scandal. For more details on that can be found on our website, elonnewsnetwork.com.
The deadline for both early decision and early action applications for prospective students is less than 2 weeks away. Vice President of Enrollment Greg Zeisser says he's pleased to see how strong the applicant pool is this year, considering there is limited recruitment travel and campus visit programming. As of this year, Elon is now test optional, meaning that students can apply without sending in standardized test scores. In comparison to last year's numbers, at this time, there's 50 fewer early action applications. There's 72 early decision applications, meaning the commitment is binding, versus 113 in 2019. There are 362 regular deadline applications submitted, and that deadline isn't until January 10th. Zeisser says through the month of September, admissions had 2,800 fewer visitors than this time last year. Zeisser attributes this to the closure of admissions in the two most important months of the school year, March and April. Zeisser says there are more than 15,000 applications started but not yet submitted.
A colorful banner displaying the words "Black Lives Matter" is new to downtown Elon this week. It's on the front lawn of the Elon Community Church right next to Pandora's Pies. Senior pastor of the church, Randy Orwig, says it was a vision from local artists. And the first banner displayed earlier around the county was defaced and then stolen. To keep this banner safe, the church is taking the banner down every night and putting it back up every morning. Orwig says it's important for his predominantly white church to recognize that Black Lives Matter.
Unfortunately, there's an element in this county that is very mean and is not very conducive to civil conversation. Some people see this sign as some kind of an act of terror or other things, and it's so silly because it is not anything near that. This is a concept, it's a statement, and it now is becoming a movement.
Banner is only going to be at the church for 2 weeks. Elon senior Alicia Powell saw the banner for the first time today and says she was surprised but happy to see it, especially after the pro-Trump convoy that drove through campus last month.
There's a beautiful mural, and I'm very happy. I hope the university does more in the future to keep it. Maybe they can make another one, because I really love the way this looks on campus. It would be a shame to see it go, because I feel like this message needs to linger forever.
As of today, more than 1 million people have voted early in North Carolina, and at least one of those votes belongs to an Elon student. Our Margaret Faust has more.
Junior Katie Zimmerman decided to vote early this year, worried COVID could get in the way if she waited until day of voting.
Really scared of maybe having to quarantine and then not being able to go and vote. So it was really good just to have it done with. And no matter what happens to me now, I cast my ballot.
She says she waited in line for an hour and a half at the Maeve Arts and Community Center, one of 5 early voting locations in Alamance County. She says people were fairly spread out and most were wearing masks. Her voting experience was similar to mine at Elmira Community Center.
I walked in and the lady made sure I had my mask on. She gave me some hand sanitizer and she gave me the I voted pen. And then I went to, verify I was who I said I was. And then they handed me, the blank ballot. And then they gave me a Q-tip so you weren't actually touching the screen. I went to go stand and wait for someone to bring me to the voting booth, and then I voted, and then I got my paper ballot. I put it into a scanner, and then I left.
Zimmerman says by voting, she is doing her part to make her voice heard.
My mom always took me to go vote with her when I was a little girl, and so until I started learning more about American history and voting rights, I just thought that everyone voted. I didn't realize how low voter turnout in America was until I was older.
Zimmerman says having a female candidate for vice president on the ballot reminds her that women have only had the right to vote for about 100 years. Margaret Faust, Elon Local News.
And the last day of early voting is Halloween. After the break, how education majors at Elon are adjusting to a new way of student teaching.
You're watching Elon Local News.
Winter and spring registration starts in just 10 days, and Anne-Marie Bonner joins us with some tips to make your registration process hopefully go a little bit smoother. Anne-Marie?
This fall, registration is spread out over more days to give the deans and department chairs more time to add additional sections. It will start on Thursday, October 29th and end November 4th. There are many steps to take before you register. First, make sure you check your registration time by logging onto OnTrack and hitting the Registration Approval Check tab under the Registration section. To save class sections you want to register for, you may want to add them to your cart. Click the Register for Sections tab. Then hit the Search and Register for Sections tab. Select the courses you want to put in your cart by checking the box on the left. On the right-hand side, you will see the available seats for the course as registration continues. On your designated day, log back into OnTrack and hit Register and Drop Sections. There, you can register for those sections that you put in your cart. It is also a good idea to make different schedules if your first choice classes fill up. You can also set an alarm or write down your time so you are all set to go at your designated time, especially if you have an early time slot. Be sure to contact your advisor to set up an appointment before your registration time. Brian and Maeve, back to you.
Thanks, Anne-Marie.
It's my last registration, Maeve. It's crazy.
Brian, I am jealous of you. I wish I didn't have to do it anymore, but that's okay.
Well, hopefully it goes smoothly. And with schools in the area teaching remotely, student teaching looks different for education majors here at Elon. Senior Sally Dorr is a student teacher for a 5th grade class at E.M. Holt Elementary School. She gets to go into the classroom with the teacher, but says she's not gaining the full experience.
I'm glad we do get to go into the classrooms because it's better than like nothing, and it's cool to see how she works through all this, but it's definitely not as enjoyable as going in person with the students there.
Students virtually is not how she pictured her student teaching experience, but finds comfort in her classmates.
On the same page of like, we're grateful that we at least get to go in, but we all like being in person, and you know, you want to see the students and get to know them and not just be like, hey, can you turn your camera on so I can see you?
Dorr's students will return to the classroom for in-person instruction in early November.
Elon's lifelong learning program, Life at Elon, is currently in its 10th year. Though members can't meet in person, the program is still promoting the importance of continuing education. Our Quinn Corrigan has the story.
This class is not made up of your typical group of students. Instead, they range from ages 50 to 90.
Elon Life is a great opportunity for a senior here in this area, and it's going to be growing, and I want to be part of that growth.
Although they are no longer in their usual home of Johnston Hall, Life at Elon is still going on. Program coordinator Catherine Bennett says the executive team has been planning the program's transition online for quite some time.
We worked over the summer on our training manuals not manuals, things that we did. And we worked on getting our schedule filled and getting our members enrolled.
In order to make a smoother transition, a technology team was created. The team developed Zoom 101, a guide which covered all the basics.
We really kept it very simple, and we did, Katie did a PDF that's got like step-by-step, literally how you log on, how you do this, what you do. And we did different versions. So if they were doing it from an iPad or a cell phone, they had that. And then we did a training video where Katie literally was on the screen and said, okay, do this, now go here, and here's how you do this.
A priority for the program was continuing the social aspect that it typically offers. Bennett says that this has been difficult because of the disconnect that online classes presents.
They can log in like at 1:10 or 9:40 in the morning, and that gives them 20 minutes where they can talk to each other. And they were showing each other their dogs the other day, and where are you? And they've got virtual backgrounds on some of them. So they're trying to communicate. It's still a little bit awkward, but we're learning.
As the program continues virtually this fall, the executive team has plans to incorporate more events like virtual wine tastings. Quinn Corrigan, Elon, Local News.
Classes are every Tuesday and Wednesday at 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. And for more information on that story, pick up a copy of this week's Pendulum. Well, Brian, this morning I wore shorts to class. A little cold, but it really turned out to be a nice day.
I know. It started out with my jacket, then had to take it off because it was way too hot. So it's definitely some crazy fall weather happening.
And now we have our Jacob Kisamore live in the studio with your Phoenix 5-day forecast. Jacob?
Thank you, Maeve. Fall is in full swing, and it was another beautiful day today with sunny skies and cool temperatures. Here's the Phoenix 5-day forecast. It will be sunny Tuesday with a high of 77 degrees, and it will also be sunny on Wednesday with a high of 81. We'll see some clouds roll in Thursday and Friday, and potentially some rain and storms on the weekend, so be sure to grab a jacket and an umbrella on your way out the door. Keep that in mind as you make your weekend plans. Brian and Maeve, back to you.
A local baseball team is rebranding. The changes explained coming up.
One of the 5 football teams scheduled to play Elon in the spring says they won't be playing in the 2021 season. Towson University Athletics today announced that, and so far they are the only first and only Colonial Athletic Association football team, to do so. In an email to Elon News Network Interim Director of Communications, Don Scott said that, quote, "We respect Towson's decision, but this does not impact Elon's decision to play this spring. We look forward to releasing our schedule in the near future," end quote.
The Burlington Royals are searching for a new team name. The team is rebranding after Major League Baseball announced at the end of September that the team's league, the Appalachian League, would no longer be affiliated with minor league baseball and instead would become a collegiate summer league. Team General Manager Anderson Rathbun says they've undergone an extensive research process and want a team name that reflects the community.
We're opening it up to a name the team contest, and we're looking for community support and hopefully get some pretty solid ideas there. But yeah, because at the end of the day, we want a community-centric team. We want something that resembles who we are, not just as a baseball club, but as a town and as a geographic region and location.
Rathbun says the team is aiming to unveil the new name by Thanksgiving, but for now, the team will be called Burlington Baseball.
Due to COVID-19, this year's homecoming was very different, with virtual reunion events and social media challenges instead of the football game and concert. Freshman Demaya Kolb attended one of the in-person events, the crowning of homecoming royalty, and says her first Elon homecoming was a welcome change from seeing her peers remotely.
It's kind of weird seeing all these people out here, but at the same time, it's kind of like relieving because it's comforting during this time we're in right now. And it's comforting to see like all these people come together to listen to music and just enjoy homecoming.
Other students found themselves missing the traditions they have come to know. Senior Sarah Bellinger says without the in-person events, this homecoming was just not the same.
I love Elon and I love everything they're doing, but to be honest, it didn't really feel like homecoming because I didn't do anything. Like usually I'd go to a football game and I'd go to the concert and they have other things going on.
Yep, and our very own my co-anchor, Brian Ray, also just happened to be a candidate for homecoming royalty.
I was.
So you were there. What was that like on Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, it was still a nice day, and it was nice, just to be with the community. And I mean, it was a beautiful day, so that was nice too. But very happy for our winners, Shakina Reese and Noah Orr.
And the Office of Alumni Engagement did not respond to multiple requests for comment about the attendance of virtual events.
No rides, but fair food remains. How that North Carolina State Fair looks this year, coming up.
You're watching Elon Local News.
About 1 million people go to the State Fair every year to eat the fried Oreos and go on rides. But because of the ongoing coronavirus pandemic, the fair was forced to change. Isabella Seaman has the story.
I'm here at the NC State Fair where things look a little bit different this year due to coronavirus. And although you won't be seeing those rides, that isn't stopping people from coming back for the food.
With long lines to get fried Oreos and funnel cake, 22 local fair food vendors are open after the State Fair rides and games were canceled this year. Lisa Ashworth and her family come to the State Fair every year. Ashworth is happy they have the food, but her sons are upset there are no rides.
Yeah. My favorite part is usually when I have the cars. Even though without the rides and the games, people have really looked forward to coming out.
Linda West has been vending fudge at the North Carolina State Fair for over 30 years. West says she is glad they were able to open within state guidelines since all 9 other fairs she vends at have been canceled.
But fortunately for us, we're a small company and we've been able to do some wholesales. But it has been a financial impact.
This year is Brenda Rio's first time at the NC Fairgrounds and says while food is her first priority, she misses the fair environment.
Because it doesn't feel the same like walking in here and getting on the rides, getting our tickets, but I'm glad that they at least have food out here.
Ashworth, West, and Rios all say they felt safe coming to the event. West says her customers have been following the COVID guidelines in place.
We haven't had a lot of problem here other than I don't like wearing masks, but I have to.
The fairgrounds do require masks and social distancing. Hand washing stations are available, and when getting food, you must take it to go because no gathering is allowed. Reporting from the North Carolina State Fairgrounds, Isabella Seaman, Elon Local News.
And all that state fair food you just saw is available through Gate 9 at the fairgrounds every day until October 25th. Now, Maeve, I've been to the state fair for a few years now. I've never seen that fudge truck before, but it looks so good.
The fudge truck? Is that what you said? Sorry,
Yes.
I couldn't hear you. I love fudge. I also like fried Oreos. I didn't see that in there.
It was there.
I do say I love the fair, but you know, if you have to miss a year, you can miss a year. And finally tonight, as Elon students, we know it well, Cookout, a cheap stop for late night eats. While in Durham Sunday, Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden made a stop at the North Carolina staple with his granddaughter Finnegan. His order? Take a look.
Happy milkshake. We got one vanilla, one chocolate, but I wanted to get what we call black and white, but we're gonna move it another way. We're gonna.
Okay, Brian, so I have to ask, what's your go-to Cookout milkshake order?
You know, I gotta go with Joe on this one. Chocolate is my go-to.
Really?
Yes.
That plain?
I like to keep it simple, sweet, to the point.
Well, that's interesting. I have to say mine, I want to tell this story because it's important to me. I only get M&M because one time I got, not at Cookout, at DQ, I had a blizzard, made me throw up. So always
Sounds good.
M&M.
I'll have to try it.
All right, thanks for joining us tonight. That's all the news we have for you this evening.
For all the news you need to know when we're not on the air, follow us on social media at Elon News Network.
And be sure to stay up to date with our website, elonnewsnetwork.com.
Have a great night, Elon.